Doctrine and Covenants 20 was originally known as the Articles and Covenants of the Church of Christ, and having been considered a church constitution of sorts, acts as a documentary window into the foundational history, beliefs, and practices of the early church. Here's the backstory. Back in June 1829, as the topic of establishing the Lord's church weighed on their minds, Joseph had directed Oliver to prepare a kind of founding document which would outline the basic beliefs and practices of the church, similar to formal documents of other religious institutions of the time. As a result of Oliver's request for additional guidance on this daunting task, the Lord counseled him in Doctrine and Covenants 18 to rely upon the freshly written pages of the Book of Mormon for rich material on the core doctrine, structure, and practices of the Lord's church. For in them are all things written concerning the foundation of my church, my gospel, and my rock, the Lord had said. Taking this counsel to heart, Oliver pored over the loose pages of the Book of Mormon manuscript and produced his founding document entitled The Articles of the Church of Christ, over half of which included direct quotations from the Book of Mormon itself. Then, sometime over the next year, between June 1829 and June 1830, Joseph wrote the Articles and Covenants, which we now call D&C 20. While it is unclear what the exact relationship is between Oliver's Articles of the Church of Christ and Joseph's Articles and Covenants, there clearly is a relationship. It appears that Joseph saw Oliver's text as a kind of forerunner or preparatory document from which he drew and which he freely adapted and significantly added to, under inspiration and by prophetic authority. Even after it was published, Joseph continued to make adaptations to this document as additional revelation was received relative to governing the church. In fact, an early edition of this document was titled, Thus Far, the Church Articles and Covenant, suggesting the ongoing nature of the church's development. It is significant to note how much Joseph, like Oliver, drew from the language of the Book of Mormon in producing his document. Note, for instance, the following phrases in section 20 that are original to the Book of Mormon. Details like these underscore how seriously he took the Lord's instruction in D&C 18 to rely upon the Book of Mormon in building up the Lord's church. 2 months after the church was organized, on the 9th of June 1830, Joseph presented this section at a conference of the church for sustaining approval, the only section of the Doctrine and Covenants added by Joseph Smith to be so sustained. In fact, it became the first section published in the church's first newspaper, the Evening and Morning Star. And in the 1835 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants, this section was placed second overall in the text, just after the Lord's preface. So that's the backstory.